arrived into Cordoba by train and we are going to take a taxi. It's about 6 to 8 euros or a 20-minute walk into town. We're going to save our energy for the walk today in town. So we're going to opt for the taxi service and we're going to start our day at the famous Mezquita. So we'll see you in a few minutes. We are at the Mezquita in Cordoba. If you take a look around, we are in the Patio de Naranjos. So there are orange trees all around us. These are actually bitter oranges. They're just starting to grow. So I'm not sure if you can see it through the camera. There's little green oranges on the tree. They will eventually turn orange, but they are sour oranges and not to be eaten. And you see these orange trees all around southern Spain. We saw them in Seville. We see them now here in Cordoba. This church was actually built as a mosque in the 8th century when Cordoba was under Islamic rule. And in the 13th centuries, when the Christians captured the city, they turned it into a church. And it actually went under most of its revisions in the 16th century during the Renaissance period. This church, much like all of the other churches around Spain, the religious sites were built one on top of the other. So originally it was Roman, then it was under Islamic rule. They converted them into mosques, and then under Christian rule, they turned them into churches. Now this church, the Mezquita, when we go inside, you'll be able to see elements of the Islamic rule here and the Christian rule. And it's really quite pretty. So let's go inside. What I think I like most about La Mezquita is it utilizes what they call mujedar style, which is a combination of Islamic and Christian art and culture. And Like I said previously, these churches are built upon whatever existed here before. So prior to being a cathedral, it was a mosque, and before that, it was Roman architecture, Roman ruins, really. But they didn't destroy what was here before. So when you look up and you see these beautiful arches, that was part of the mosque. You can see they're red and white, and they left it intact. They didn't destroy it, and they utilized it in the cathedral. Following the submission of many models here for the choir, Duque Cornejo was the sculptor that was contracted to build this beautiful choir. It has 30 upper seats and 23 lower seats, and they all were meticulously crafted and decorated in carvings. And if you look here in the center, there is what they call an episcopal throne, seating for three. And if you go all the way up to the top, you see a representation of the ascension of the Lord. And at the very, very top, it is finished off with the presence of Archangel Raphael. We're at La Posada del Potro here in Cordoba. And this historic building was referenced in Miguel de Cervantes' masterpiece, Don Quixote de la Mancha. It's now a historic building and it houses the Centro Flamenco Fosforito. And in here, we have a museum dedicated to flamenco. It's closed today. We're here on a Monday. But if you come back any other day, there is a museum with some interactive music and lots of references to flamenco.
Hello, friends. We are at the Barrio La Juderia, and we're sitting in this very warm afternoon to enjoy another tinto de verano.
Salud.
We actually have become addicted to this delicious drink.
Yes.
Mine is limon.
And doing a little twist on mine. So you can order it with limon or with naranja. So this is my second one with naranja. Very good. Pretty similar though, I think, but delicious. Very
Yes, yes.
refreshing on a hot day.
As I said, we are definitely addicted to it, and we're planning to incorporate that in our own menu at home, in our little lounge at home.
Big jug.
Big jug, yeah. I don't want glasses. I want a big jug. It's been a very pleasant experience. We visited the Mezquita. A little bit of advice on La Mezquita for you fellow videographers. They do not allow the use of stabilizers or poles, so you'll have to do all your recording by hand. And you gotta, I mean, it's fairly easy, except you gotta be careful because there are some areas where there's like it's a bit of a difference in the height from one floor to the other,
Yes.
about this much. So be careful not to trip on it.
And sometimes some like open roofs. We saw somebody in the mezquita, as soon as they walked in, their foot kind of went into it.
Yeah.
So be careful. You don't want to trip or hurt your ankle there.
Yeah.
But it is a very walkable city. I recommend that you stop at the tourist office, which is right behind the mezquita. They have a map. We originally scheduled to come earlier this morning, but we decided to sleep in a little bit, so we changed our train tickets. That meant that we didn't do the guided tour, but it's a city you can do on your own, definitely.
And there's cards and plaques all over the city that tell you where you are. We've been to some very historical points that were actually mentioned, as Christy said before, in the amazing book Don Quixote de la Mancha. Also, another couple of tips is you'll find a lot of ladies. They tell us that they are gypsies in certain points where they know tourists come through,
Yeah.
offering you a little sprig of
Rosemary.
rosemary. Don't accept it. There's nothing dangerous about it. It's just that that's an opening for them to offer to read your hand, and for that you have to pay.
And actually, I don't even think they offer. I think as soon as you take the sprig, they take your hand and they start to read your palm, and then will immediately ask for money
Yeah.
for having provided that service. So you don't want to accept
Service.
it. Just say no, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to ignore them. You don't have to just be rude. You can say no, thank you. They will probably insist. We actually witnessed a young man. It was a very teachable moment, at least for me, because the lady said, "Mi rey, una ramita." That means my king, a little sprig, and he answered back, "Esta vez no, mi reina, otro día." That means not this time, my queen, another day. And the lady had this expression of delight on her face, and she said, "Thank you." And it was very nice to observe that, and it will definitely serve me in my own interactions with these ladies.
Yeah. And then places to eat. There are lots of restaurants right around La Mezquita. We did some walking in the old parts in the La Juderia. It is Monday, and so there are lots of places closed. And we didn't find too many restaurants there, but there are plenty of restaurants right around La Mezquita, plenty of drinks, great food, And we just got here. It's about, actually, it's exactly 4 o'clock. And as we sat down, they said that they had closed the restaurant. They were only serving drinks. So a lot of places close around 4 p.m. and then open up again for dinner, right?
Yeah. And and the same thing we were talking about with the difference in levels inside the mezquita, that seems to be the the situation all around the city. It's very easy to trip around here, and not the good way. Okay, it's very easy to take a tumble if you don't pay attention to the ground around you. Not to mention, most of the streets have
Or cobblestone.
the cobblestone
Hmm.
streets, so it's very easy to twist your ankles if you're not careful.
Yeah, you definitely want to wear sneakers if you can. Otherwise,
Sneakers.
had I worn sandals today,
And the last tip, at least from me, is don't worry about looking like a tourist. It doesn't matter how much you try to blend in, they will know you are a
you're a
tourist.
tourist.
So just enjoy yourself. Grab your map, like Christy does. Grab your map, your big sombrero,
Yeah.
the urban sombrero, the little sign for reference there. Grab your hat, grab your sunglasses. Everybody will know you're a tourist regardless of what you
It's
try to
okay.
do.
It's
And it's
okay.
fine. They're very happy to have you here. Anything else, Christy?
That's it right now.
Oh, thank you. Love you guys. And don't forget to subscribe and
Like.